once again, I'm very happy to be with all of you this evening. And this evening we will discuss the text of the Bhagavad Gita, trying to understand a very important spiritual technique of the Bhagavad Gita that it's the 5th chapter, Karma Yoga, Action in Krishna Consciousness, text 25:20. I will recite Sanskrit and then the translation and the short version. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 5:20. Na prasrityat priyam prapya, no vichat prapya cha priyam, stira buddhir asamudo, pramavit pramanistitaha. Translation. A person who neither rejoices in achieving something pleasant, nor laments upon obtaining something unpleasant, who is self-intelligent, who is unbewildered, and who knows the signs of God, is already situated in transcendence. Purport by Abhaicharavinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The symptoms of the self-realized person are given herein. The first symptom is that he is not illusioned by the false identification of the body with his true self. He knows perfectly well that he is not this body, but a fragmental portion of the personality of God. He is therefore not joyful in achieving something, nor does he lament in losing anything which is related to his body. This steadiness of mind is called stira buddhi, or self-intelligence. He is therefore never bewildered by mistaking the gross body for the soul, nor does he accept the body as permanent and disregard the existence of the soul. This knowledge elevates him to the station of knowing the complete science of the Absolute Truth, namely Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagavan. He thus knows his constitutional position perfectly, without falsely trying to become one with the Supreme in all respects. This is called Brahman realization, or self-realization. Such steady consciousness is called Krishna consciousness. The verse again. Na prasrityat prapyam papya, no vichat papya sab, brahma papya sapriyam, stirabhushnit buddhim asamuda, pamavit pamanistita. A person who neither rejoices upon achieving something pleasant, nor laments upon obtaining something unpleasant, who is self-intelligent, who is unbewildered, and who knows the signs of God, is already situated in transcendence. Om Ajnanati Mandasya Jananjana Shanka Sakshan Metam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Chitchaitanya Manopistam Staptam Yena Bhutale Spyamrapakadamyam Dadati Swam Pramantikam Vandeyam Shiyuda Padkamam Shigum Vaishnavam Sat Shirupam Jagatam Sakana Ragnatam Tam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savaduttam Prajanasaitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sakanalita Shikshakam Vitamsa He Krishna Guna Sinudina Bano Jatpate Kopesha Kopka Kanta Ganda Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchna Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwar Krishamana Sutadevi Pranamama Nikachani Nirvishesha Srimivadi Paskachai Tisatani Srila Prabhupada Ki. So this is a test for the devotees that are we spiritually advanced? Are we identifying with our real selves or with the body? This is the test. Something pleasant from the body comes to you. And when we spiritual advance, he's not interested. That is not interested in the enjoyment of the body, of the mind. And that so it's not elated when something happens which is nice for the body. That he knows it's all these pleasures, it's all temporary. That and it has nothing to do with my real self. And then when something happens which gives distress to the body, it's not disturbed. He knows it's temporary. The distress, it's only for the body. That this happiness and distress is the duality of the world, good and bad. But they are factually concoctions of the mind. We think things to be good and bad. But factually we don't know. There was this man and he had a horse. And one day, this male horse, the horse ran away. And the neighbor said, "That's very unfortunate. That's very unfortunate." And the man said, "Good or bad, let's see." A few days later, the horse came back with a female horse. Then the man had 2 horses. And the neighbor said, "Oh, that's very fortunate." And the man said, "Good or bad, let's see." Then the man's son was trying to train the new horse, and he broke his leg. And the neighbor said, "That's very unfortunate." And the man said, "Good or bad, let's see." And this was just in the time in America when they were drafting for the war in Vietnam. And then his son was asked to present himself, but then because of his problem with his leg, they dismissed him. He didn't have to go to the war. And the neighbor said, "That's very fortunate." The man said, "Good or bad, let's see." So we think in terms of good and bad in this world. But what's good for one is bad for another. When in the mode of ignorance things, yes, let's drink alcohol and eat meat, and that's good. When of the mode of goodness, will say that's bad, that's not good, that's good and bad. But factually, everything in this world is bad. That's what Srila Prabhupada says. Because the very nature of the material nature is inauspicious. It goes above death, old age and disease. But one would think something pleasant happens for the body, or some suffering comes and is disturbed. Such a person is on the mental platform, identifies with the mind, and the suffering is rewarded. So that's an important test. There are many stories in the Bhagavatam of devotees who had transcended this stage of so-called good and bad. There was King Rantidev, this is in the 9th canto of the Bhagavatam. King Rantidev had been fasting for 48 days with his family, and then the cooks prepared a meal to break the fast. So they were at the point of breaking the fast, and then a Brahmin came to the king and said, "I'm very hungry." The king said yes. He satisfied him, gave him all the food that he required, and then after that he made sure that his family members were nicely fed. But then he was going to eat again. He had just his portion left, and then a Sudra came, very hungry, and the king gave all his food to the Sudra. And then after that, so he was quite attached. He saw it as the mercy of the Lord. He was not thinking good and bad for my senses. And then he had only some water left. He was on the verge of leaving his body. And then a man came with 5 dogs. He said, "I'm very, very thirsty. My dogs are very thirsty." We gave all the water away. And then of course afterwards you had the Brahman, the Sudra, and then the man with the dogs. It appeared to be all demigods who came to test him, but he was not concerned with the pleasures of the body. He was concerned with serving others, with his duties, and was not disturbed. If you are very hungry and you are going to eat, and then someone comes, and eats everything, how would you feel? That's quite a test. So in that way, good and bad are for the body. What we think good and bad. But when one is on the mental platform, one suffers without end. we had story of the Ramayana. Kaikeya was approaching Dasara today for the coronation. Because, yeah, that Kaikeya was ill-advised by Mantra, Mantra, yeah, her servant. And she told the king, you gave me these 2 boons. When you were fighting and you were injured, I took care of you and you gave me 2 boons. And now, at that time I said, I will ask for them later, but now is the time there. You are planning the coronation of Lord Ram tomorrow, but I want you to ban Ram for 40 years to the forest. And I want that you coronate Bharat, my son, instead of Ram. And when Dasarath heard that, he fainted. And when it came consciousness, to consciousness, he said to Kaikeya, did I dream this or is this real? And she said, yes, it's real. And he started to lament. And he started to condemn her. And then a few minutes later, he was bowing down for her and pleading that please give up that idea. And that went on the whole night. And then he was condemning her again. And then again he fell down again and was bowing down for her and asking for her compassion. So that's the mental platform. That we are attached to what's so-called good for the body, and we don't want this stress. But the happiness in this stress is affecting the body. Why do we want this happiness of the body? Because we identify with the body. And because the spirit soul wants a happiness, but not the kind of happiness in this world. We are cheated, but it's very short, this kind of happiness. But what happiness can you get in this world? I'm going to eat a pizza. How long can you enjoy a pizza? That's 5-10 minutes. It's finished. And then after that, you can only think. You can only remember I had a good pizza. But then hunger comes again. The problem is not finished. Hunger is a distress part, and then you want to eat again. That it's never finished. So this hankering for things gives satiation. I've enough. But no satisfaction, no real happiness. And the soul wants eternal, all blissful happiness. Satchitananda. That's what we want. But we cannot find it in this world. And the problem is, if you are entering this duality of good and bad, and you want only the good and not the bad, then that reinforces your identification with the body. It's very tricky. you identify very deeply with the body. But one who is equal to this enjoyment or the distress is called stira buddhi, that a man of steady intelligence, that a man who has realized I'm not his body, that it's temporary anyway, this happiness and distress, it's soon all over. So in that way, that we must consider this point. If we absorb ourselves in happiness and distress, then we lose our capability to understand our real position. That a few days ago we spoke about the story of Chitraketu in the Bhagavatam. Chitraketu. Angiramuna saw he was so absorbed in getting a son, was so absorbed in it, and he could, absorbed in the enjoyment of material life, in the problems of material life, you cannot understand your situation. You cannot receive and understand spiritual knowledge. It's not possible. That so Angiramuni did not instruct him, but decided to give him an experience. Anyway, he got his son Harshasoka. It was predicted the son Harshasoka that gives great happiness and distress. So that's this happiness of the body and the distress of the body. And the great happiness was that a son was born, and everyone was so happy. And but one of his co-wives, envious to his primary queen Katadyuti, to which he gave all his love and affection, out of envy, the son Harshasoka was poisoned. And then there was great distress, great happiness and great distress. That this duality. That but then when Narada Muni came, he made the soul of the child enter the child again, and the child sat up. And then Narada Muni asked, look to your parents, by leaving prematurely you have caused them so much grief. And the soul replied, which parents? I've got millions of parents. Which parents do you mean? And by hearing that, Chitraketu woke up, understood his situation suddenly, that by the mercy of Narada Muni. Narada Muni tells to Srila Vyasadeva's previous life that he was the son of a maidservant, and he was hearing for Bhaktivedantas for 4 months during the Chaturmasya, the rainy season. He was hearing the Bhagavatam and was serving them. He did 2 things, serving them and hearing. And it's in the Bhagavatam mentioned. Although he was a child of 5 years old, he became very sober. He had no tendency to play like the other children, no interest. That shows the effect of this association. How he was only 5 years old, And he was liberated from this. That so powerful, the process of bhakti. Because as long as we are absorbed in this duality, we cannot fix our minds on Krishna and not attain this higher happiness. The soul is meant for this higher happiness. This higher happiness is explained in chapter 6, text 20 till 23. That, the last part of the verse, established thus, whenever departs from the truth, and upon gaining this, it thinks there is no greater gain. Being situated in such a position, is never shaken, even in the midst of the greatest difficulty. This indeed is actual freedom from all miseries arising from material contact. So a devotee starts to act as the spirit soul and identifies with the spirit soul, with our real self. We identify with our real self when we are purified in heart from this duality, this tendency to enjoy or to avoid distress. That tendency, as long as that tendency is there, we will suffer. And we will be bewildered. Because this happiness and this stress is very temporary in this world. It's a very temporary experience. That as long as the body is there, we have this happiness and this stress. Is it intelligence to try to go for this temporary happiness in this world? What will you gain? It's everything temporary is false. That a devotee goes for what is valuable, but that valuable we can only get if we give up the attachment for the body and come out of this duality. Because the experience of happiness and distress, it's illusion. It makes the illusion stronger that I'm the body. But it's by acting as a spirit soul that we will become purified by that. Acting on as a spirit soul, the spirit soul is a form, and that form becomes manifest if we become purified. And then we identify ourselves with the real self. And so here that's called Stira Buddhi. Like in the Bhagavatam, in the 8th canto, there we have the story of Ambarish Maharaj. No, it's not Ambarish Maharaj, it's Baldi Maharaj. Baldi Maharaj, when he was he wanted to fulfill his promise to Vamandev. Brahmachari was the Supreme Lord that appeared as the son of Kashyapa and Aditi. Vamandev appeared for him, begging for 3 paces of land. but his spiritual master, Sukracharya, the so-called spiritual master, said, don't give him anything. He's Lord Vishnu. He will take everything away. And but Bali Maharaj said, but if it's Lord Vishnu, what's the use of my temporary kingdom and treasury and queens and so on? It's all temporary. So why not give it to Lord Vishnu? It all belongs to him anyway. But Sukracharya said, don't give him anything, because you will lose everything. But what do we have to lose? To whom belongs this body? And Sanatana Goswami, yeah, he met Lord Chaitanya in Jagannath Puri. But Sanatana Goswami had a disease on his body, and you know how it's called, but all this these wounds with pus were all over his body.
Boils. Boils?
A kind of boils, yeah. There's a specific name, but I forgot it. That
psoriasis. Psoriasis, they call it.
It's liver.
Like leprosy? No.
Eczema.
it's something like that, but it's weeping.
Pus and
Yeah, that's a description, but there's a specific name. And that Shel Prabhupada used a specific name, I don't remember it. But Sanatana Goswami was thinking, if Lord Chaitanya embraces me, I'm going to contaminate him. So, but then when he met Lord Chaitanya embraced him by force. And Sanatana Goswami was thinking that I made a great offense. I contaminated the body of Lord Chaitanya. And he was meditating on the next Ratha Yatra in a few days. I will jump under the cart and commit suicide. But Lord Chaitanya, Lord Krishna, is a super soul in everyone's heart. And he knew what Sanatana Goswami was thinking. And he said to Sanatana Goswami, do you think your body belongs to you? No, your body belongs to me, and I have great plans to send you to Vrindavan to excavate all the holy places, because I cannot leave Jagannath Puri. I promised to my mother Sachi that I would not leave. So Sanatana Goswami understood it's not my body. And Lord Chaitanya wanted to use this body that I use his body in his service. So that is one point to consider. Even our body is not ours. So Bali Maharaj said, yes, it doesn't belong to me anyway. It belongs to Lord Vishnu, so I give it to him. And then Lord Vamadev, took one step and he took the whole earth. The second step, he took the whole universe and made a hole in the universe. And then he asked Bali Maharaj, what with my third step? You promised 3, you are not fulfilling your promise. And then then Bali Maharaj was arrested by the serpents Varuna. But Bali Maharaj tolerated everything. He was completely surrendered. And that has pleased the Lord. So this, for devotee, this test comes, so-called good and bad. And suddenly something happens in your life that you loses everything or this or that. But you have to lose everything anyway. There's no point of thinking this is mine. This is mine because it's for my enjoyment. That's about the concept of life. And it creates attachment. This being happy when something pleasant happens, and being disturbed when something painful comes, that means attachment and aversion. Attachment and aversion are, Krishna says in 334, are obstacles on the path of spiritual life. So that attachment and aversion, that's created because we meditate on things in this world for enjoyment, and then become attached, and then frustrated, and anger comes. And by this meditation, by this attachment, that takes our mind away from Krishna. You cannot think of Krishna as long as this is there. Your mind is already occupied by things that will cause us misery. Because the Brahma Buddha platform means Nashoshti Nakangshati. That's the spiritual platform. But Nashoshti Nakangshati, not lamenting and not be elated, or no hankering. It's the hankering and the lamentation which takes away our consciousness to things in this world. But we are a part and parcel of Krishna, and we make that connection with Krishna by meditating on Krishna. We become attached to Krishna. But as long as we are in this hankering and lamentation, we cannot make that connection with Krishna. Because Bahusaka Anantasa Buddhiyo Vyavasvainam. Your mind is it's many brands to many things in this world, so many desires. But a devotee has only one desire, to please Krishna. And so that is what is explained in this verse. But the point is, how are we going to realize that the method of realization is sadhana. That Krishna says, always think of me, I'll never forget it. And that if we are too absorbed, then we cannot do it. Krishna says, okay, if you cannot do it, follow the principles of Bhakti Yoga. Perform sadhana. Chant Krishna's names and avoid sinful life. Sinful life means breaking the regulative principles. Because that causes more hankering and lamentation. So that's Therefore it's so important. We must learn to tolerate and not take this hankering and limitation serious. It's nothing serious. It's nothing serious because it's all temporary. That soon it's all over. It's like a dream. That like a dream, like you see a film and become absorbed in the film. You identify with the happiness and distress on the screen, sometimes crying, sometimes laughing. It's the same thing. That when we absorb ourselves in the life of this body, attachment, lamentation, and lamentation, hankering is there. But everything you hanker for, that's 99% will not come true, and the 1% you get, it's very temporary, it's flickering. So it is no use. It's childish. People that's what people in this world do. They become absorbed in it, and then they think, oh, this is my enemy, this is my friend. Even on the devotees you see that sometimes they don't speak to each other, and then they become friends again. Then again they become again so-called enemies, and then friends again. But it's you see these things. That's all due to this absorption in material energy. Because absorption in material energy is meant to make us forget Krishna. That's what the material energy does to you. Material energy has two effects. That it will contaminate your heart. It brings you an illusion. Illusion that things in this world are so important. That and it degrades yourself. That's what contact with material energy does. It's but contact with Krishna purifies ourselves. And elevates our consciousness. So therefore, these are important principles that we should not learn to live with our consciousness on this platform of hankering and lamentation. That so-called relationships in this world are based on hankering. And the result is lamentation. That's all. That expectations of each other. Oh, my husband is like Lord Ram. Or my wife is like Sita. But it will not happen. It's just a big illusion. Therefore, of course, devotees also marry, but we should do our duty without attachment, without expectations. That just for one reason. Relationship with each other you can have on different levels. The lowest level is the sexual craving that must be there in a relationship. Otherwise, man would marry with man, but of course in this age already it's already happening. So nothing special. That yeah. And wife and husband, they do things together. They sleep together, they eat together, and so on. That's a little higher level. Not much higher, but also the animal level. a little higher is, yes, we make friendships, we share likes and dislikes, and, okay, that still that keeps you in this world. But the devotee relationships are based on supporting each other in spiritual life. That's a higher relationship. Man and wife and children work together to support each other. In the morning, they sit together and chant Hare Krishna. They hear the Bhagavatam, and in the evening, they hear Bhagavad Gita and chant together. They take only prasad, that's food offered to the Lord. They worship the Lord, supporting each other in spiritual life. So in the devotee life, you have all these relationships out there. Sexual craving, doing things together, friendship, and then supporting each other. But generally, if we make advancement, we should focus on supporting each other in each other's spiritual life. Because the other levels are causes of hankering and lamentation. And it will block your spiritual advancement. And you will be very unhappy. So pleasant and unpleasant, this set in the second chapter, Siddha Sityu Samabhutva Samadvam Yoga Uchati. Yoga is being equal, have equanimity in mind. And what is this equanimity in mind? Is equal in success or failure. Like Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, when he heard that a disciple went the whole day out and he had distributed 2 magazines, 2 paitas. He was very happy. But his happiness was not about the distribution of 2 magazines. That's a big failure. But he was happy with the endeavor of the devotee to spread Krishna consciousness. So that's important. Important is our spiritual motivation behind everything. That is a success. That external there may be a failure, but spiritual there is a success, because we make spiritual advancement by doing it. Krishna is pleased, the spiritual master is pleased. So that external success is not the most important thing. Failure or success, it doesn't matter. You may be all your life dishonored. Another person may be honored the whole life. And you are dishonored. That at the end both die. What's the result the same? It's just a devotee, when he is dishonored, he feels that's nectar. And when he's praised, he thinks that's poison. That's how a devotee thinks. When a devotee is praised, he immediately feels embarrassed. He feels strongly embarrassed. Because he knows we are not a doer. Because this point of rejoicing when there is happiness, or being disturbed when there is pain, that's just based on the concept I'm the doer, that I'm going to work for my happiness and become happy in this world. But your happiness is already destined for the body. And the distress also. Nothing you can change. So, an intelligent person understands not much I can do about it. I can try, but I become the observer. I see what's happening. This is explained in Bhagavad Gita, that 5 factors of action: the body, the senses, all the endeavors in the mind, this is all the body, Prakriti. And that's controlled by the 5th element, the Supersoul. Supersoul controls material nature, not us, but we are the karta. We are the karta, we are the doer by our attachments. And when happiness and distress comes, we are disturbed when distress comes. And when happiness comes, we feel happy. Then we think ourselves the doer. Yes, I'm the cause of my own happiness. And the cause of my own distress. But it's not so. We are the cause of that by our actions in our previous lives. But the immediate cause is the super soul who gives us our reactions. So this happiness and distress. But when Dasarat finally he called Ram, and Kaikeya was there with Dasarat, and Dasarat could not even look to Lord Ram. He was so distressed. He was thinking, how will my son react on it? I will make him very unhappy. And Kaikeya said to Lord Ram that your father does not want to speak with you because he's too distressed. And then she told Ram about the boon she got, and that she wanted him to go to the forest for 14 years, and that Bharat would be throned instead of him. But Ram was Tirabhudir. He was very peaceful, and he said, yes, I'm not disturbed by it, he said. But why did my father not say that directly to me, that I will immediately fulfill his request? His promise, his request is my order. And he prepared to leave. He was not influenced, because he is the Supreme Lord, by the so-called happiness and distress. But then when Lakshman came, he became very angry. I was going to kill Dasarat. Said, how can you do that? Because no one, all the citizens of Ayodhya loved Lord Ram, and they didn't want to go to the forest. They said, You go to the forest, let us all go with you. And then we build a new Ayodhya in the forest. But anyway, Lord Ram cooled him down and convinced him that to abide and by the orders of Dasharat. That's the difference. Lakshman was disturbed by the happiness and distress. But it's important for us. If we see in our lives, distress comes, and distress will come. As happiness comes. That just learn not to be disturbed by it, and do your duty in Krishna consciousness. Serve the Lord, focus on that. Just focusing on your service, or see whatever job you have, you do as service, and you consider the result is in the hands of the Lord, whatever good or bad, Krishna's mercy, that then your life changes. The bad becomes good. That everything becomes good. That even to the point of leaving one's body. You see that's Krishna's mercy. What's the point? We serve Krishna as devotees. Leaving the body means just you get a new body and you continue serving. That's all. That Krishna takes care of his devotees. They will again revive their Krishna consciousness and they continue. It's no point. It's all these allurements, all this temporary life that makes us that brings us to the mental platform. That Krishna consciousness means give up this mental platform. That's Krishna says, it's manogatam, the concoction of the mind. All this good and bad. We think bad about something, then later we think it's good. It's like I told this story a few times in the past, and Sister may remember that. There are two friends, and one friend was working in an ice cream factory, and the friend who was working in the ice cream factory said to the other friend, let's go this evening to the factory, I have the key, and let us take some ice cream. So they went both to the factory, to the ice cream factory, and the friend who was working there opened the door and went to the fridge, and he took out a container with ice cream, strawberry flavor. And he said to his friend, yes, now we have to empty the container, and then when it's empty I put it with the other empty containers, nobody will see. So they got both a spoon, it was a 10-liter box, and they started each to eat at one side. And after the first liter each, they said, oh, nice ice cream. But then they continued, they came on at the second liter and said, one friend said, I think I have enough. The other friend said, oh, your promise, we have to finish it. And they continued, they came at the third liter, and friend said, it's gone. it's not good, it's disgusting. But the other friend, yeah, I know, but I have to continue. And we're eating the ice cream till the end, and then they both cried out, "Never ice cream anymore!" So that's in 20 minutes time. First they think, yeah, it's very good, and at the end, never again. That it's just an illusion, good and bad. That thinking, when I feed this body nicely, that will bring my happiness. Big belly, 10 kgs to pass out. We think we are happy, but it's a big illusion. It's it's that. But if one becomes stirabadur asamuda means unbewildered, and it's not bewildered by this, that good or bad, that we don't care. We just want to serve Krishna and please Krishna. And that gives happiness to the soul. This ecstasy, which is described in 620, that is what we want. Because it's that when is asamuda, stirabadir, of steady intelligence, asamuda is unbewildered by this happiness and this stress. It's not interested in the hanging of lamentation. It doesn't care. It will happen anyway. And it will go by, it will pass by. Prabhupada said, like the caravan comes by and the dogs are barking. But anyway, the caravan will pass by. So the happiness and distress will come. But instead of becoming absorbed in the distress and the happiness, we become absorbed in serving Krishna. And then you get out of the distress. If you focus on the happiness and distress and become absorbed in that, it becomes very painful. That you are in the seat of the dentist and you concentrate on it, then it becomes worse. That I told that a few times. This absorption of consciousness. Where do we absorb our consciousness in? In the happiness or distress? That when I was 5 years old, that I had a lot of toothache. Yeah. It was in the 60s. My parents never taught me to brush my teeth. But I was eating a lot of chocolate. So the teeth were rotting in my mouth. That was a reality. So I had a lot of toothache, and then a friend came to play with me. And we started to engage in play. And during the play, no toothache was not there. But when the play was over, toothache came back. That once the friend was gone. So if this is just a material example, but it's the principle of absorption. Where do we absorb our consciousness in? Last year, nearly a year ago, was this ISIS attack in London at the Tower Bridge. Man was driving on the pavement and killed so many people. And there was a couple at that time, an American couple. They were going to London to celebrate their 25th anniversary of their marriage. But the man was killed and the woman was in the hospital. And the woman did not lament. She says, I'm living only in the good. I'm not saying that the bad does not exist. But I don't deny it, but I don't live in it. Of course, good and bad. You can live in the good, in the material good. It will not help you. We have to live on the spiritual platform, always absorbed in Krishna. In 96, the centennial year, my Guru Maharaj Bhakti organized a parikram in Mayapur. At the beginning of the parikram, he said, "You have now arrived in the spiritual world. Stay absorbed in thinking of the past times and in the chanting. Don't come down again with your consciousness to the material platform." And that's Krishna consciousness. We must organize our lives 24 hours a day in such a way that we cannot do anything else than thinking of Krishna. And that's a training of the mind. And this movement is meant for training of the mind, that we always are absorbed in Krishna. So, Haridas Thakur was always chanting Hare Krishna. That always connected with Krishna. And you stop chanting or you stop your absorption in your service for Krishna, Maya is there immediately. Immediately. Because this world is made of Maya. This body is Maya. This material mind is Maya. And we cannot fight with it, because we will lose. That King Puranjan in the Bhagavatam tried to fight with 15,000 soldiers or 30,000 soldiers. That our maximum life is like 100 years, 30,000 days of something. And every day you lose a day, you lose the battle. You will lose the battle with material nature. That everyone loses. There's no exception. But the point is, get out of the influence of material nature. And that's by fixing our mind on Krishna. And becoming callous towards material nature. Don't take it so serious. It is not so serious. That it has to happen all anyway. That people become engrossed in so-called relationships and think it very important, becomes very attached to each other. And then something happens, and great suffering. Great attachment means great suffering. But we want great attachment to Krishna. That is what we must develop. We must be attached. But when we are attached to Krishna, then we are free from Maya. We are attached to Maya, we forget Krishna. In the spiritual world, everyone is attached to Krishna. There is no Maya. In the material world, everyone is attached to Maya. No Krishna. In illusion. So unfortunately, we are at the wrong side. We are in the material world. But this Krishna gives us the way here to come out of it. Become free from the duality of attachment and aversion in this world, hankering, lamentation. How do we do that? focus on the order of the spiritual master. Do what the spiritual master says. And do only that. We have only, that's our only goal, pleasing the spiritual master. I go on book distribution. Yeah. Will be a lot of opposition. Will be very difficult from the material platform. But if you do it, you will learn to tolerate and very quickly transcend this mode of nature. Because it's pleasing the spiritual master. And you get your practice immediately. That you have to tolerate. That Haridas Thakur was beaten in 22 marketplace. He tolerated that after 22 marketplace he did not die, and his those who were torturing him said it's already normally when we beat someone like we beat you, after 3 marketplaces they die, and you are not dying. It's already 22 marketplaces. They said we are getting in trouble now. That if you don't die today, it's 22nd marketplace, then the king will kill us. And Haridas Thakur said, I don't want you to, I don't want to cause you any trouble. And he meditated on Krishna and went completely absorbed inside, and all the life symptoms appeared from his body. No breathing anymore. And they brought his body to the king, and the king said, you bury him. But the Qazi was there, the district manager. He said, no, you cannot kill him, you cannot bury him. That's because if you bury, according to the Muslims, if someone is buried, they go to the heavenly planets. They have to go to heaven. And he said, no, that's a too high a too high destination for him. He's a Muslim who has been degraded for becoming a Hindu. And then the king said, alright, throw his body in the Ganges. And they throw his body in the Ganges. And the body of Haridas Thakur was floating on the Ganges. And gradually he came out of ecstasy. And he became to consciousness and was floating to the beach. He got up and he started to chant Hare Krishna very loudly. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And then he went straight back to the king. Anyway, that's interesting. That no fear. That because fear and anxiety comes by absorbing in this duality. That if you think, yes, I'm living for the enjoyment of the body, and most people in this world live for the enjoyment of the body, it's a bad investment. It's going to go wrong, very wrong. The best investment is investing in our eternal self and come to our real consciousness. Because it is false consciousness, lower consciousness, animal consciousness, identifying with the body is like the animals. They cannot do anything else. But we have a higher intelligence. It is therefore Prabhupada says in the Prabhupada, he is therefore never bewildered by mistaking the gross body for the soul, nor does he accept the body as permanent and disregard the existence of the soul. Srila Prabhupada many times said, yeah, That's someone's father dies and says, my father is gone, my father is gone. But the body is still there. So they recognize now, oh, my father is not a body. They never saw their real father, the person in the body. And that's so bewildering. So bewildering. The absorption in good and bad become completely bewildered. That you don't know what's valuable, what's not valuable. But the first lesson Krishna gives us, after explaining that the body changes, and we have to, he says the body changes, and you have to tolerate these changes. Tolerate. Matra spashkantyam sitasnasya dukadukara. Agamapa inanatyas nityas tamstiksha subhavda. You have to tolerate heat in the summer and cold in the winter. Because this happiness and distress arises from sense perception. That it comes from sense perception. And it enters into the mind. But we have to tolerate it. Yamina pratatantiti purusham purushashabam. Sam dukat dhiram, sam sukha turam dhiram, same tatvaya kalpate. Yeah, that it means, yeah, that if one can tolerate this happiness and distress, that it will be soon be liberated, Krishna says. So important is that. But when we tolerate, we should tolerate with knowledge. Not just tolerate with knowledge. Suffering comes because I've caused suffering to others in previous lives. And we understand that it's a punishment. And I accept it, Krishna. That's alright, I'm happy to pay for it. Sorry that I do these stupid things. The fault lies in me. And just by understanding that, most of the suffering already goes. But if you fight against it, no, I don't want a punishment. And then, yes, you make new karma. And your absorption in the body becomes deeper and deeper. But when you see what's going on and you accept it, just by that knowledge, you become sober and equipoised. And happiness for the body, the devotee is not much interested. That's, if it comes, alright. But it's better to be in a suffering position than we remember our situation. That if everything goes well for the body and so on, we forget Krishna. It's many times people are in distress and they're going to church or the mosque, they pray to God, and then they get what they want, and then they forget God. No need anymore. But Queen Kunti was praying for difficulties. Because when she was in difficulty, she remembered Krishna and she felt ecstasy. Of course, we don't have to imitate Queen Kunti. We are in Kali Yuga. Distress and suffering will come on its own accord. You don't have to pay for it. It will be sufficient for that. No problem. So, by that, a devotee, even in happiness and distress, is joyful. people in this world, when they strive for things and then there is a failure, they are ready to commit suicide. Their life is a failure. The wife gets along with another man, and the man thinks, I lost everything, and he commits suicide. That Maya is so strong, it brings you completely in illusion. But whether this relation is good or bad, it doesn't matter, it's all temporary, it's all over. So that lamenting doesn't help. And hankering is stupid. So what to do? Krishna says us what to do. Become sober. Understand our situation and engage in Krishna's service. And detach us from these things. Don't take them too serious. But if you become attached, you become absorbed in it, you are gone. Yes. Anyway, that's what I could say on this verse. I don't know if it made sense. Any question or comment? Yes, please.
I have 3 questions.
3, we start with 1.
Okay. So if, as a struggling sadhaka, so I understand the philosophy you presented very clearly. I'm not supposed to lament. Someone very dear to me may die. So I know I shouldn't lament, the philosophy I understand, but my emotions aren't on that same platform yet. So the emotions swell up in me. My question is, I can't lament because it's not right. What do I do about those emotions? Do I give vent to them, or do I try to squash them?
Do you think Arjuna was not lamenting when his son Abhimanyu was killed?
But the Bhagavatam says that at the end of the battle, then it describes how Arjuna, the queens, all went to the river to perform the last rites, and that they lamented.
Yes, yeah.
So therefore he did lament.
Yeah, that's right. But the lamentation is very short, and then it goes. There is no big attachment. Like Srila Prabhupada would become angry, but then he could give it up at the moment. It was gone. It does not mean that we become emotionless, that we become a stone. No, but extreme attachment is very dangerous. And for a devotee laments. He laments for separation from other devotees who have gone. And that's a spiritual lamentation. I remember when I joined, I had a good friend, Bhakti. We grew up together in Krishna consciousness, but he had a heart deviation from birth. And doctors said that he would not live longer than 25 years. Finally, he came up to 33 years. And we were together in Belgium, in Radodesh, in the temple on a Saturday morning. And we went to the morning program. And then we had the Guru Puja. After the Guru Puja, we chant the Panchatattva mantra. We turn to Radha Gopinath, to the beautiful deities. And then we chant 3 times the Panchatattva mantra, and then Bhakti was putting his hand in the air like this before the deities. And we started to chant the first Hare Krishna mantra. He was doing the Swami stuff before the deities. At that time, his heart collapsed. His body fell down, he left his body at the spot. I must say I felt great separation. I didn't cry or something, but I was certainly attached to him, but because he was a devotee. And until today, if I think of him, about his service attitude, that so we were together in a Naam Hatta in Gent in Flanders, and I always wanted to serve him, but before I could serve him, he was serving me. It was very difficult sometimes. Sometimes at night. We were in the same ashram. He knew he was aware he could leave his body every moment. And in the middle of the night, sometimes you come from deep sleep in a light sleep, and you wake up for a moment and then you go back. So he would wake up for a moment. He would wake up and immediately would say, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, 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 and he would go again sleeping. And he would learn so many verses in a short time, because he knew my time is getting up. But we had such a wonderful time together. It was the most happy time of my life. And even if today, if I think about him, I still lament, but the lamentation is an expression of ecstasy, just remembering him. So that's lamentation is a natural emotion that must be purified. That of course we lament for separation for those devotees who passed away. That lamentation is different from lamenting for non-devotees. That's we don't care much about them. It can be true that we try our best to convince them, but if they don't want, that there is no special attachment, no attachment of the skin. That's what Queen Kunti prays to Lord Krishna. Please destroy this attachment of the skin. But not on the spiritual platform. We see each other as spirit souls. And when we are separated, we lament. But that's spiritual lamentation. That's also there. Anyway, does that clarify a bit?
That actually answers two questions, because I was going to raise the question about Arjuna and his family lamenting. So you took care of two questions.
Yeah.
And my third question is, I'm a little confused about Dasaratha and his lamentation and his hankering, because wasn't he lamenting and hankering for the Supreme Lord, and isn't that what we're supposed to do?
That well, it's playing the role of one on a mental platform there. That
As leader.
yeah, it's certainly Lila that, like there are other examples, so many examples of Lila, but Dasarat had to play a certain role, and he played that role of a conditioned soul there. That it's like Duryodhana had to play the role of a demoniac king. But factually they are all devotees who are playing a certain, who are coming at eternal associates with Krishna, who come with him to play a certain role to teach us. And also Dasarat was there to teach us what the results are of this excessive attachment.
Can we then give two understandings to Dasaratha's lamentation, similar to when Ram felt so much lamentation and he was crying when he came back to the cottage and Sita was gone? And Prabhupada explains that he's showing the example of what happens when you're too attached to a woman. but the Prabhupada said, but then there's another understanding, and that understanding is Vipulamba Seva. So, for Dasaratha we could say maybe the same thing.
And no, that's certainly also there, because by that fact he was always thinking of his son Ram, and that by that he went back to Godhead. That certainly his mind was fixed on Lord Ram, and he was worried about Lord Ram. But he had to play this role of an attached king to his queens, and that we can only learn from that. Good, something else? Yes.
Thank you very much for your lecture. Your example very powerful. Sometimes I don't understand your British accent, but I feel your Shakti. I think it's more important than world. Thank you very much. And my question is, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Dhruva Maharaj and Prahlada Maharaj is just 5 years old, child, but they give us to very deep knowledge. My question, what is the reason to use this young body to give us this deep knowledge?
Yeah, the thing is that Prahlad Maharaj, he heard the Bhagavatam in the womb of his mother, and Narada blessed him. He knew that he was in the womb, and he blessed him. By these blessings, he got that spiritual advancement. And Dhruva Maharaj is a little different. He tricked him. Narada Muni tricked him. Yeah, because Dhruva Maharaj, 5 years old, he was hurt by his stepmother, Suruchi, and by that he wanted revenge. He wanted to get a kingdom greater even than his great-grandfather Brahma. So his purpose was materialistic. To want a kingdom greater than your great-grandfather. Brahma as the only universe, he wanted something more. Can you have a bigger material desire? So Narada Muni told Dhruva Maharaj, you are just a child. These austerities that you want to do, that's for an adult man. You go back to your mother, and later when you are adult, please come back, then you can try. But Dhruva had this Kshatriya blood, and he felt hurt. And he said, no way, I will do it. And then Narada Muni said, okay, you want to do it, but while you do your austerity, you make a deity of the Lord. Make a deity of the Lord. And while you do your austerities, you meditate on the deity. You chant always, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. He was like that, always chanting, and by that he became purified. He became purified because he was following the instructions of Narada Muni. The empowerment comes with the instruction. It's the mercy of Narada Muni. And by that he came eye in eye with Lord Vishnu. But even when he came eye in eye with Lord Vishnu, he was not yet completely pure. Lord Vishnu touched his head with his conch. And then he became completely purified. So, but it's all by the mercy of Narada Muni. So there we see the importance of of the mercy of the pure devotee. Of Srila Prabhupada here, in the, it is in Chaitanya Mangal. It's one of the biographies of Lord Chaitanya, written by Lochandas Thakur. There it is said that Lord Chaitanya speaks, and these are its words noted by Lochandas Thakur. It said that I will conquer the demons by destroying their demonic tendencies in the heart by the chanting of the holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And if some of them escape my mercy and go to far off countries, then I will send my Senapati Bhakta, my field general, to. So Lochandas Thakur is speaking there about Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada is empowered by Lord Chaitanya. We've seen how others he could spread Krishna consciousness all over the world in 11 years. It's not possible. So it's greatly empowered. And because he was empowered by Lord Chaitanya. So if Srila Prabhupada, he gave us his mission. He gave us a service. The preaching mission of Srila Prabhupada. By engaging in that mission, we get empowerment. So that's the only thing we have to do. Engage in Srila Prabhupada's mission. Be concerned with giving Krishna consciousness to others and not with ourselves. And then Krishna will take care of us. That's no doubt about that. Anyway. That was also the case with Dhruva Maharaj. Okay? Good.
In this 7th canto, Prabhupada writes that everyone likes to hear philosophy from a little child.
Yeah, sure. That's he was pure in heart. And everything Prahlad Maharaj said became Shastra. Kamaraj said Prakyodaramam Bhartamam Dulabam Samyam Tapya Dhruvam Artadam. He said to his schoolmate, from the young Kamara age of 5 years, one should cultivate Krishna consciousness. Because this human birth is rarely achieved. That. Thank you very much. Good. Yantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Bhagavad Gita ki.